Welcome back to Winds of Whimsy. The project today dates back to last summer before the fall IOD release. I was playing with the Christmas Kitties stamp from a year or two ago to create these rosettes for the Christmas tree. I began by dusting off my Cricut machine to create some different shapes that we will use for these ornaments. I had some squares, some rounds, and some ovals when I was working on this back in the summer. This is the Christmas Kitty stamp. It's very sweet. And then I also have added in the Christmas tree from the new Sugar Plum Fairy stamp as well. Which kitty should I use? There are so many cute options. I love this one with the hat. It's fun to color the hat in with a color, but I decided to go with this kitty with the package. I have something fun to show you here that I discovered on Amazon. These little teardrop blank ink pads. They have a nice firm sponge on them, and they will allow you to add your own ink. So here I am using the IOD turmeric ink, and I'm just putting some on that stamp pad. I thought these would be good if I want to custom mix a color. And I like to use multiple colors when I'm stamping sometimes. So this shape allows me to be more precise as I'm applying those colors to my stamp. This is the green from IOD as well. So we'll get those inked up so they're ready to go, and I'll show you how I use multiple colors on one stamp. Here is the traditional size ink pad that I purchased from IOD. They have a very reasonable price on their blank ink pads if you want the traditional rectangle shape. So I'm beginning with the black, and I'm doing everything except the leaves on this stamp. I'm taking a wet wipe now to wipe off any that I might have gotten on these little leaves that are on the outside. And then I also want to clean up the edge so I do not transfer ink to the paper. So now I'm taking my little teardrop, and see, I can be more precise and just get green ink on those little leaves on the outside edge. Okay, now you will place your stamp on the paper, hold it with one hand, and apply some pressure over all the surface to transfer that image. There. See how I have the black for most of the image, but that green shows up as a pop of color. Now I'm cleaning my stamp off right away with a baby wet wipe. so that ink doesn't dry. You may notice that I'm not using a thin mount. I purchased these stamps before I really knew about the thin mounts. When I first was buying stamps, I would cut them apart, and I regret that now. I wish I hadn't done that, but I left them on the one backing and cut them apart so they have a little bit of firmness, and you can just stamp with them that way. Okay, this is the new Sugar Plum Fairy. When you have a new stamp, you want to take a 220 grit sandpaper and just lightly sand across the surface of your stamp to create a tooth for the ink to grab onto. This is the Mouse King from the Nutcracker Suite. I tried using the new green ink pad, and it did not work very well, and I will show you the result of that in a little bit. This Christmas tree is gorgeous. It has such beautiful detail to it. So I'm doing this in black, and I'm going to go back in and paint on some colors, some red and green and some white on the bows, just to add a pop of color. As you can see with this new stamp set, I'm doing it properly now, and I did not cut my stamps up. Okay, here are my two Mouse King. This one was gloppy. The one with the green turned out too gloppy. I think I had too much ink on my pad for that one. I'm using a distress ink pad in, I believe it's called Sepia Photo, just to add some antiquing to the edges of these. Now, this is heavy body gel, and I used it kind of as a decoupage medium, to glue this paper down onto cardboard. For this round kitty cat, I am using a bakery round that you would get in the cake aisle at a store. So I'm going to glue this down, and then I'm also going to apply a layer of the heavy bonding gel on the top of it. And it gives you an interesting texture when you start to add glazes or washes and color to the surface of this. I also used some cereal boxes to create my backgrounds. You're not going to see it, so it can be any kind of cardboard, but that just gives it a little more body. So once again, gluing down the image with the heavy body gel, and then going over the top with different brush strokes going in different directions. For the rosettes, I have an old music hymnal from a church. It's very, very old, and I've taken some pages out of that. I also created a template out of cardboard. And this is the width that I want my folds to be. So this will help me speed up the folding process as you do the accordion folds. So there's my first fold, the width of that cardboard strip. Now we'll flip it over, line up the edge, and fold it the opposite way. Okay, and you just continue down your piece of paper till you get to the end. And you're going to fold that in half. And we will glue them all together. Found that 5 worked very well. You can get away with doing 4 pages, but 5, I preferred that actually. So I'm gluing these together in the center where we folded it. Then we're going to connect them to each other to create the rosette. Now we'll add a hanger where we want the top. I'm just going to take some ribbon and glue it into one of those pleats. Okay, now let's add some more age to these stamped images. So I'm using some Debbie's DIY Dark and Decrepit. Sometimes I mix this with plain liquid patina to make it a little softer brown, but it looks like I'm using the full strength right here. Take a baby wipe or a paper towel, cloth, and soften those edges, and you can just keep layering this until you like the look that you've achieved. You can see in some of these where I've used the 2 different colors. For the stamp with the tree, I used green for the tree and kept the kitty cat in black. Like I said, I like the hat on this little kitty. You can do some fun colors with that. This aging process is where you'll start to see the texture that you created with that heavy bonding gel. Time to add some sparkle and shine with glitter. So I tried a couple different methods to get glitter on the edges of these kitty cats. Here I'm using some Tight Bond Quick and Thick, and I thinned it down just a little bit with some water because it's so thick. And then I tried rolling the paper through that and then rolling it through the glitter. I'm using Paint Couture Sheer Frost and Pure Silver here. They're German glass glitters and they are gorgeous. I actually decided this maybe wasn't the best way to go about it. I got the job done, but it was a little bit difficult. So then I decided to try some Elmer's, just regular Elmer's school glue. Actually, I think worked better than this method. So here I'm just taking the Elmer's glue, and I can make a nice bead right around the edge of that piece of paper. And I actually was able to do that around the rosette as well pretty easily. I would do half, add the glitter, and then add glue to the other half, and finish the glitter on that side. So I would recommend doing it this way. Some of them I added glitter onto the image to add some extra sparkle there. These are really fun to play with. You can use all different kinds of embellishments. Here you can see I'm going around the rosette quite easily with the Elmer's glue. Now you can have fun by layering different papers underneath. You can see here I took different cardstocks I had in my stash and cut them out with the Cricut as well. I honestly don't use my Cricut very often, so this was a great to get some use out of it. I went into my stash and I found all different kinds of ribbons and trims and just had a lot of fun mixing and matching and adding different trims. I had some fun rickrack. I found it worked very well and added a nice detail around the edges. And here they are. Look how sweet these Christmas kitties are. This one I added extra sparkle. And this is from the new Sugar Plum Fairy. For the details on this tree, I used Paint Couture Luxe Metallics in the red and green. I believe the green is Amazon and The red is cardinal red, and then I also used oyster pearl for the ribbon. And I mixed those with a little bit of Debbie's DIY liquid patina, and it gave me a sheer paint that has a beautiful shimmer. I used the same paint for the ribbon on this kitty, and here you can see where I used the green ink pad along with the black. I hope this inspires you to use your stamps to create some paper crafts for the holidays. If you like this project, please like and subscribe to my channel. Till next time, whimsy friends, get creative.